Alright, hey T1, it's Ethan here today, and welcome to Ethan's live HVAC talk. So, let's get started by, hold on, best trucks ever made, Chevy. Alright, so, first question on live HVAC talk is, how does an air conditioning system work? Well, a basic air conditioning system to cool your house. You have your outdoor condenser and you have your indoor furnace with your evaporator coil in it. Let me see now. With your evaporator coil. And with that, you have your compressor outside and you have your indoor furnace inside. And the Freon goes through those two. And what happens is, would y'all shut up? Yeah, the Freon comes from the outdoor unit into the... Alright, so it starts at your outdoor unit. You have your compressor. The Freon comes from the evaporator coil. It runs through the compressor and through the condenser, and it cools it down a little bit. And it goes back through the small line to the evaporator coil. And it goes back through the small line to the evaporator coil. Now it's a gas, and now it's really, really cold. And then it makes the evaporator coil super cold. Then you have a blower motor on there that pushes the air through that evaporator coil, and it makes that air cold, which is, again, making cold air coming out through your vents. Second question, what is the difference between a heat pump and a straight cool? Okay, so this is a common question, and the difference between a heat pump and a straight cool. A straight cool is what I just talked about. The big line comes in, goes through the compressor, evaporator coil, goes back through the small line, turns to a gas, gets cold, and it blows it out. What a heat pump does, it has a reversing valve in there, and it has a reversing valve, and it basically reverses that whole entire process. Now it makes the Freon, now it runs in the opposite direction. Making that, it means the Freon goes back through the compressor through the big line into the evaporator coil as a liquid, and now it's super hot, making that evaporator coil hot, and the air blows across it and making it hot. And it goes back through the small line, and it goes back through the small line around the condenser again, and believe it or not, there's still heat on the outside, and it sucks that heat in through the condenser, runs through the compressor, and it comes back and does all that. Second questions. Let's talk about hack jobs. Hack jobs are very common nowadays. Here are some good tips on finding a good installer. First, you gotta make sure they are certified and have the HVAC license to do a Freon. And second of all, you gotta know what a proper job looks like. Really neat. All the condenser is set in the proper place, not under anything. It needs to be away from everything. So you gotta make sure it's set right, and you gotta make sure everything's right. Everything's nice and neat. A hack job, like they place it like in the wrong everywhere. Like, you can tell a hack job from a regular job. Just trust me, I've seen one before. Alright, second question. The proper way to install an air conditioner. Alright. You install an air conditioner by, first you have your, if you're going to do a furnace in your outdoor unit. What's up, in my heating guy? Nice to see you. Yeah. And you have those two. First you set your condenser outside. You set it in the proper place, and you put your furnace in wherever you want, in the attic or closet, and you hook the ductwork up to the furnace, and you take your copper lines and hook them up to the units, and then you braze the copper all together so it makes a airtight seal. Then you pull a vacuum on the system to suck all the contaminants out of the system. Now, if you have a pre-charged unit, it can charge the line up to 25 feet. So just open up your valves and it'll open up. If you have a dry shift unit, then you take off your little caps for your valves, and you hook up to your Freon tank, and you you have to have gauges for this. You gotta let Freon into the system, and you got to look on your gauges and you gotta look on the unit and find the proper pressure for the unit. And then you look on your gauges and you make sure it gets to the proper pressure, and then you stop adding it, and then you hook up your electrical, you hook up your high voltage and your low voltage. Your low voltage is from the thermostat, and your high voltage is from the disconnect, 230 volts. And that's how you install, and then you just start it up, and that's how you install an air conditioner. Second question is about window units. Window units are a supplemental cooling. They're supplemental only. They're not made to cool your entire house. They're only made to cool a room or two. And what they are, it's basically an air conditioning system all over again. You have your evaporator coil and your outdoor coil with a little fan and a little indoor blower wheel. And it does the same cycle as what I talked about. You can rewind if you want to, and you'll blah, 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 blah. Oh, and I also forgot, there's supposed to be a link in the description. I hope so. Yeah, and why is it not the link and not? So it's basically that.
Yes.
Yep. And yep, that's that. We can go. Alright, so shout outs now. I want to shout out At the Prison Show. I want to shout out 3D Machines. I want to shout out Tomcat 9700 Gaming. I want to shout out, go away. I want to shout out Roman Atwood Vlogs, and I want to shout out How to Prank It Up. And that does it for live HVAC talk. I will see you on the next one. So as of that, have a nice day.